Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to Ed Talk TV, Conversations Worth Having. I hope you are having a fantastic day. Boy, it has been busy, busy, busy. Let me know, no matter how crazy your day is, whether you're watching this on Wednesday, which is today, or Thursday or Sunday, whatever. Let me know, how is your day going? I just shared this out, so it's always a good time for you to share. If you're new around here, please be sure to let us know in the comments because we are all about the comments. There was a little rap that I did one time in somebody's Facebook Live, and they really enjoyed it. I didn't literally rap it, but I did it in the comments, and then I had to go ahead and do it on my show. So we're all about the comments, the comments. It's all about the comments. We'll just do that a little bit to get you guys going. So today, I'm excited. We are going to talk about email. Oh, I love email. I really do. Probably really weird, right? Because you're probably thinking, no, I don't want any email. Like, I have 1,000 plus in my inbox that I'm not trying to be all up in my inbox. Let me just make sure everything's working on the Facebook side. Cool. So fun tip, when you go live, you always want to make sure, if you can, to have another device nearby if you're not using directly the Facebook app. So I use a program called Ecamm Live, which is awesome, and it allows you to stream from your desktop to your computer. And I'm just popping in to make sure that, perfect. I see Paula, I see Tammy, I see you guys. Hey, Mindy. Love it. Okay, cool. There's a slight delay, so we're good. And that's how it works. So it's really cool. Anyway, if this is your first time joining, welcome. My name's Ed, if you don't know who I am, and I basically school you in business and tech. That's right. That's what we do. And so a couple quick things for you. Oh, it's fire in here. Yes, I'm pretty sure that looks like fire. I don't even know what that is, Tammy. That's like it came through as like, they look like hot pads or something. I don't know. But let me put in the comments for those who are new, the Hey Ed membership. You know, like, hey Ed, I have a question. Hey Ed, do you know what XYZ is? Hey Ed, can you point me in the right direction? I think I already said that, but whatever. Some of you are already in the community, which is awesome. You guys, for a split second, my viewers here, I love you guys. You guys make it happen every day. My community members, oh my gosh, I feel like it's Christmas morning all day long. You guys are awesome. So thank you guys so much for all your support, both in the community and here. I appreciate it. If you're new, you're in for a real treat, not just from me, but from all of us. So keep it in mind. Don't forget to share with your friends. And when you join live, I can put your comments on the screen, like I did with Paula. Whoop, whoop. And that's a fun fact that allows you to get seen, right? Because our whole thing is we like to show up, deliver, and engage. And that's what I'm here to teach you. And the show is all about business, tech, and the user experience. And today we're going to have a special guest, one of my good friends, Cait, who will be joining us here shortly to talk about email, which, okay, how many of you guys love email? Be honest. Be honest. Tell me in the comments, even if you're watching the replay, how many of you love email? I'm going to catch up on the comments. I've been procrastinating my next email. Maybe this is what you needed, right, Mindy? You know, you never know. You just never know what you're going to get here on Ed Talk TV. Hey, Cait, we're going to be chatting with you here shortly. We'll be calling you shortly. So, email. Email is not even a little bit, Tammy says. Okay. I see you guys. I know. I will say that email number, well, mine on my personal, you can't really see it, is 2. Now, I know, yours is probably in the triple digits, if not more. I know. But we're going to talk about that. Well, sort of. We'll find out with Cait. But I just love email so much because I'm kind of an organizational freak when it comes to email. And I think a lot of that came from me being trained from my photo editor. Shout outs to Sam Murphy. Back in the day when we worked together, fun fact, I used to be a photo intern at a local magazine. And my photo editor, Sam, had taught me everything about email for the magazine, but we actually had to have specific, like dead on specific subject lines and only that content in the email matched the subject line. You guys, it makes your life so much easier. Now, again, that came out around the time when texting just started. Not that texting's that old. Gosh, it sounds like I am way up there. I'm not. But it was kind of like, we got email coming in on the mobile, and then we got texting, which started to blow up. But then nobody was really trained on one or the other, and conversations just start going all different ways, right? And that's where it gets complicated. And then people are writing emails that are like blog posts, and it's just, it gets real messy. How many of you guys, even if you're watching the replay, how many of you get emails that are more than, let's say, a paragraph? And I'm not even going to define a paragraph right now, but how many of you guys get emails that are longer than a paragraph? And how does it make you feel? Let me know. Mindy, I'm not admitting what mine is. I know. Trust me, between working in retail at Apple and seeing everyone's devices and working with clients and prospective clients, let me tell you, I know what your inboxes look like. I don't know what the content is. I'm not all up in your inbox like that. I just know what that number looks like on your home screens because it frightens me. And I know that gives you anxiety. I know. It's an epidemic. I'll just say it. It's an epidemic. I think that's the right word to use. We'll just go with it. Yes, lots of them. Chrissy says, oops, yep. Some long emails, no thanks. Exactly, right, Mickey? Because who has time for all that? I don't read really long emails, right? Exactly, Chrissy. You guys, I will tell you that's kind of how I operate. So email for me has to be short, sweet, to the point. Give me bullet points. Give me an exact subject line. I even have it in my email signature. Be specific in the subject line. Here are my office hours. Be specific in the subject line. Email is the best way to contact me. Why? Because it's my database. That's where I can actually follow up on things and have a system in place. And it can be hard sometimes. And some people, will not really do that. Okay, we got a little competition here. We got a little friendly competition. Tammy's throwing it out there. She's got 2,461. Who can beat that? Who is going to beat Tammy today? Let's hear it in the comments, even if you're watching the replay. We got 2,461 as our number right now. Who's gonna go higher? Who's higher? So when it comes to email, it's one of those things that you need some training around it, and it is one of those things that can be really hard, especially if you have that many, because then it feels like you just can't catch up, right? And so that's just my little take on there. I actually, fun fact, do you guys know that I actually have a free course on this? Did you guys know that? I don't know if you guys know that. It's pretty awesome. I mean, obviously, it's free, so can't really go wrong with that. And it's me. I'm just saying. Just kidding. You use MailChimp Snap or MC Snap. I'm not sure what that is. I had 25,000 a few years ago. Woo, Chrissy, you are popular. Dang, you're popular. And let's see. Chantel, nice to see you here. Hello. I'll pop you on the screen here. There we go. Perfect. Okay, cool. So I don't know if you guys know that, but I will pop this into the comments. Don't go there now. You can check it out later. But here is, for anybody who's interested, here is a free course that I made for you later, not now, later, around email marketing. Not email marketing, I'm sorry. Organizing how you deal with email. There's a whole technical term I called, like how to... I'm all over the place. You guys can just check the link later, okay? So let me just pop that into the comments here. Hey, Aaron, welcome. Glad you guys are here. Free email course. Okay. I wasn't going to promote that, but since we're talking about it, why not? It's free and it's something that's already done. Mickey says, ooh, Mickey. Oh, Mickey had to take it one step further. She had to take the challenge for those just joining. Later, always check the comments later for the links, because I put a link to Hey Ed membership and to this. But Mickey took the challenge from Tammy and went above and beyond, not only with 3,000, but it's also AOL. So there you go. She gets a prize. Tool are you using for this? Chantel, for me right now, I am using Ecamm Live. You can actually find this. Look, you guys, I'm already giving you all these links. Isn't this awesome? edtalktv.com. Don't go there now, though, because you're going to miss out on all the good stuff. Go there later. Check the comments, everyone. But on edtalktv.com, I have a list of things that I use for the show. I have training, and then I also have a guest request form. So if any of you guys are interested in becoming a guest, like you'll see on today's show, you can always go over there later and fill out the guest request form. It's awesome. That's all you got to do. So, I feel slammed by Mickey. Yes, Tammy, big time. So, all right, let's just jump into it, because I mean, enough is enough. Like, Ed, come on, let's roll. Let's get this going. Let's get this party started. Who else is pumped here? Let me know in the comments. I'm hooking up the mic here, and I am going to go ahead and give our fantastic guest a call. And I'm going to switch our screen over. Oh, there we go. Oh, good. I thought it was going to be weird because it had a weird tone there. So let's see what happens. Yes! It's working!
Yay! So I was listening to you on my computer as you were calling, and there was this weird echoey effect.
Yep.
So I'm sorry if I ignore y'all in the comments. I am not doing it by purpose.
No, that's good. Yeah, and actually, fun fact for everyone watching too, when you have a setup like this, you want to make sure that if you bring a guest on, you want to make sure that they're not listening to the feed on Facebook, because there's a delay. And so they may be 10 seconds or a little bit more behind. So always make sure you're listening to the exact feed through Skype, which is what we're using right now. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So let everyone know who you are. Who are you?
Alrighty, guys. Well, I share this into all my community, and I see Chantal as well, so hey! I'm very excited to be working with her soon in the new course that I have. So nice. I am Kate Doster of KateDoster.com and the Inbox Besties podcast, where I give you dangerously practical advice for turning internet randos into subscribers with benefits. The kind that pop open their wallets and throw fistfuls of cash at you. They're just take my money constantly. That is what I do, Ed.
I love it. And you guys, for those who don't know, Cait and I have been friends for,
80 million years.
Yeah, pretty much. And
80 million.
It's been awesome to be able to see each other grow our businesses and to be able to connect throughout that time frame on different things. But we always keep coming back to email.
Right? This is just what I do.
Yes. And so
we'll take off the glass.
And let people know, I know you mentioned the podcast, but how did you decide to do a podcast in terms of that?
Okay, so I am more of a talker than a writer. That's the reason why I love email so much, because it's shorter, it's sweeter, although I do have some gripes about the long emails, and if it's interesting, people will read it. But there's a certain way you've got to actually set it up so they'll read longer emails, and I'm sure we'll get to that when we talk more about email marketing. Yeah. So I started the podcast because I love talking, and that's my medium of choice. So even though I primarily help bloggers and freelancers, I loved it. And even though I call her the small but mighty podcast, Inbox Besties, and that's on me for not growing it as much as Ed has done with all of his stuff, is I've gotten so many clients from it. I've gotten so many sales from it. So the podcasting, it really, really works.
Yeah. And you guys, the reason I wanted to have Cait talk about that for a second is because I want you to realize that there's different mediums that you can run with. You guys are tuning into the show here and you're watching me live. I can then take this later and pull out just the audio, and I could do a whole podcast show of all of these episodes. I mean, we're on 67 or something like that right now. And so all I would have to do is either spend a ton of time or go hire someone to do all of that. But understand, there's a method to the madness. And for me, the video is working for what I want to do in my core. My head's all over the place because I love this topic. But basically, the video is working for what I need to do. And then for Cait, the audio is where it's at for her. And again, small and mighty still wins the race. That is the part that, we talked about that the other day on the show for those who are just tuning in, that we talk about this all the time. You don't worry about the numbers. You worry about showing up, delivering, and engaging with those who are coming and watching you or engaging with you or listening to you, right? That's how we do it.
Yeah. You don't, I mean, obviously it's always good to get your name out there, but I never want people to have the crutch of, especially again, since I deal with email marketing, I always say like, oh, well, like, I'm not going to email until I've got like 1,000 people, or I can't create a product to have 1,000 people. For some strange reason, like they've got that like magical number in the head. And like, I had like 50 people on my list, and I was making like buku dollars as a freelance copywriter. Like a lot. And I didn't even have a nice website at that point. It was like a splash page. So it is not necessarily about them. I mean, obviously you do want to be thinking like, okay, how do I reach more people?
Yeah.
But it's not for the sake of the vanity metrics. It's more because you've got a purpose, you've got a mission, and someone needs your help. So you got to get yourself to them, because they're not just going to mystically stumble upon you. They might, but you've got to be a bit more assertive.
Yes. And I love that you said, and someone needs your help.
Mm-hmm.
You guys hear that? That's applying to all of you. And this is your space to start, if you haven't, by engaging not only with us, but other people in the comments. Even if you're watching the replay, you can still engage, and that's going to start that journey for you. So keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kate, go ahead and jump into what you want to talk about today, because this is my favorite, and we'll just dive in.
Okay, so Ed was talking a lot about inbox management. I think that's like the proper term. So what I talk about is email marketing. So that is, like I just said, random people on the internet, turning them into raving fans, addicted to giving you either money or shout outs if you don't have anything, or honestly just talking back to you.
Yeah.
And about fostering that relationship. So we could go anywhere. Originally I had said to Ed, we could talk about subject lines, we can talk about click-through rates, when to send, any of that, like an email marketing ecosystem. And really it's about what you, Ed, think that your audience wants to know, what they want to say in the comments. And we'll just spitball it, whatever y'all want. Like, just, we can do anything.
I love it.
I talk about this all day, every day, guys.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
And so you guys let us know in the comments. I know already, so you guys, this is how my brain works, okay? So I'm already thinking, okay, subject line, open rate, and then maybe whatever else. But like those, for me, I feel like those are the two things, because it's like, you have to have a good subject line in order to get somebody to open. And then we always hear about open rates, but we don't really know what that means, or it just doesn't click, I think, for some of us. So maybe that's a good part to start with the subject line, because that's kind of like the next step after putting the to field, right?
This is true. Okay. So again, this is for marketing stuff. So if you were going to say like pitch Ed or like speak to someone as a collaborator with Ed's, like you said, you want to be like crystal clear, like podcast guest and all of that.
Yeah.
But when you're actually emailing your list, whether, I like to say every single email is a sales email. And it's not the fact that you're necessarily asking them to part with money, but you're selling the fact that you're worth being in their inbox. Like you're selling the fact that you're an expert. You're selling the fact that you're interesting. You're selling the fact that you give a damn about them. Part about the swearing. The kids are in the other room.
Yeah.
But like, you're constantly selling. So every time you send an email, you are selling them something. And usually for most people, like, well, I don't think there's like a healthy number for like, you know, strictly content versus like strictly pitch. Yeah. It's usually you're selling like information and like spirit and like proving to them like, you know, it is worth your time to learn how to eat healthy.
Right.
And that's usually like a blog post or a quick tip that you have or a video or a special PDF that you put together. So when it comes to subject lines and open rates, this all sort of mixes in together. So we're actually going to flip it a little bit, Ed.
Okay.
So for open rates, because that's one thing everyone worries about.
Yep.
Email service providers. So that's like my BFF ConvertKit, MailChimp, we've got MailerLite. I know you love Ed as well. All of those people, the way that they track opens is by images that show up on when someone opens your email. So if someone is on Gmail and they don't turn on the images, it doesn't track it as an open. And most email service providers, little known fact, have a hard time tracking mobile. And as you know, like 60% of people read emails on mobile because like you're bored and you're in the grocery store line and you're like, well, I've got nothing else to do. So like one of our viewers, I'm sorry I forgot your name, was like, I have that AOL account that's all the junk mail. Yep. She might like pop in and see what's going on because she's like, what else am I going to do, right?
Yep.
So that's something to think about as well. When you see your open rates are like, oh my goodness, they're so low. So for most people, an open rate to strive for, if you're sending a general email to everybody on your list, which we can talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
It's usually somewhere between 20 and 30. And 30 is if like you have other stuff in place, meaning like if people recognize your name. And I feel like that's the first step that no one seems to talk about. The real key to getting high open rates and keeping them higher is by really rolling out the red carpet and knocking people's socks off when they first get on your email list. So that most people think it starts at the freebie. It actually starts at your thank you page. If you have a confirmation email like MailChimp has, you got to work that. And then that freebie email and the emails that you send after. You don't need like this huge monstrous welcome sequence. I have like my fast 3 that I talk about all the time. You just need to be able to like really cement who you are because people are going to forget. And it's a little like braggadocious if we think that you're their only source of something. Like, while we love Ed, chances are there could be some other online business people that you follow.
Maybe.
Like, I know I'm not like probably the only email marketer in your inbox. Like, I get it. So that's why, especially at the beginning, you really want to knock their socks off. So that way, name recognition, it's, ooh, Kate gives great stuff. I remember her. And then they'll open your emails. Because there are certain people, like, Ed could have like the crappiest subject line ever. It could literally be like, I don't know, a colon, and that's it. Like he had an error, and I'd open it because I know I'm getting great value. It sells me the fact that he's an expert just by being awesome.
Right. And I love the fact that you point out the confirmation page because I feel like that is one that a lot of people may overlook. It's kind of like your email signature, if you will. Where, especially on the phones and stuff, it will say, sent by iPhone or sent by Verizon. We don't actually go and change that because we're not really thinking too much of that, but it's valuable real estate and it's a great touch point, like you said, at the beginning to get your name noticed right away and a reminder.
Because what most people don't realize about, and in my challenge that I have coming up next week, like the most valuable thing, we're going to call it a funnel, people. So all a funnel is turning, like we just talked about, a random person, taking them on the next step. So like if you open a vegan bakery, your funnel could literally just be, you open your door so the waft of your cupcakes gets people in the door. And then you have a nice atmosphere. So that would be like your email list. And they stroll up to the counter and it's like artisanal this and vegan this. And then you buy stuff. So everyone's got a funnel. It's not just like a series of emails. But that's what we're going to be talking about here since I do work primarily with digital businesses. So like the only page out of any of that stuff after they sign up for your freebie you can guarantee is that first thank you page. So you need to use that real estate wisely. People may never open your freebie. They're never going to confirm their email address. So you need to make sure that first page that they are guaranteed to see, unless your load time stinks on your interwebs, is valuable and you're using it.
No, and I love that. And that's the thing, you guys, depending on what program you are using, go in and look for it. And if you don't know, ask the company that you're working with. Chances are they have a chat or the support or frequently asked questions. Like literally just look for confirmation page and see what pops up or just Google it and see what comes up because chances are you'll find it there too.
Exactly. So if you are doing something where they're going to need to confirm their email address, then for you, maybe it's actually like a picture of your face. It is reiterating to them why this freebie is so awesome and they need it. And it's like an actual like picture showing them like the email that they're going to need to look for to click on and what to do if they don't. Now, that's called a double opt-in. So MailChimp, you have to do that. MailerLite, you can shut it off. ActiveCampaign, you can shut it off. Like a lot of the other ones you can, depending on what country you live in. So if you do have that ability, then the thank you page, maybe instead of encouraging them to go and confirm their email address, you're encouraging them to share. So you've got share buttons on your page. Maybe you're like me and you're like, I'm going to sell on my thank you page. So then you have an easy yes offer with a sweet discount, but it's something that you need to be thinking about.
Yeah. And actually, you guys, I'm actually going to make a note right now because so I will be honest with all of you guys because you guys probably
we're
can relate.
Always learning, guys. Like we're always learning.
I have an email list and I have people signed up on it and it's pretty awesome. A lot of people are still on there and they love it. But as you know, Kate, there's definitely room for improvements on it. And I'm sure every time you get my email, you're like, okay, Ed, when are we going to step it up another notch.
Exactly.
So, it's always a work in progress. I'm right there with you guys. But I'm making note because I want to go back to my I use MailChimp for those who are curious. And I want to check my confirmation page. See, I'm making notes just like you guys.
Because you don't have to use like the ugly ones for MailChimp. No offense, MailChimp.
Right.
Even right there where you set it, you can have it set to a page on your actual website that you can make it look a little bit nicer. So like Ed could have his smiling face. You can have his branding.
Yep.
It's all about making the absolute best first impression that you can for people. Like there is like, I cannot tell you how many examples of people, even in like the online marketing space, or like consider themselves marketers, that it's horrible. Like they're wasting their thank you page. They've got an ugly confirmation email that does nothing. Like all of it. I'm just like, one person was trying to like their freebie was like something having to do with email marketing. And like all of you guys, like I'm always curious to see what the competition's up for. And I'm like,
yep.
I hope no one is listening to this person because like this is just like awful. Like clearly this person just wants a big email list, and I hope to goodness that they are not trying to sell an email product because it's basic, guys. It's basic.
Well, yeah, and the thing too is that you guys, how many of you have your email already set up? Meaning you already have MailChimp, MailerLite, whoever, you already have it set up, but how often do you look at it to see the sequence, to see if the information's updated? Which is why I just made note to go back and look, because I've made some major changes to my website, and I have updated the list, but now I'm like, oh, I need to go check that confirmation page. I need to check the thank you page. Can I plug in my Hey Ed membership for these new sign-ups? Can I provide a better user experience for that? So that's where I want you guys to start thinking about it, is because some of you might be like, oh, I already have it set up. I'm good. Well,
go through it with one of your bogus emails.
Yes.
Like everyone's got more than one email address. So even before you hunt through MailChimp because you could miss something, literally just have a pen and paper, go to your actual website and try to see, like, is it easy to sign up? Can people actually find it? And then what the process is actually like. And then you'll be able to actually see how you can improve because you're seeing it with fresh eyes.
And I love that I'm going to repeat it because you just pointed out, testing, you guys, testing your sequence yourself using another email address. We talk about that all the time in terms of just running. You have to test. You have to see what happens. And that's a big one to note.
So I know that we kind of went off the rocker, but now you can see why, like, I'm so passionate about email marketing. I mean, people like just talk about like list building. It's like, that's like one piece of like 7 things that you need to be thinking about when it comes to actually turning email marketing into something worth your time. So that's why I get a little bit on a high horse. But to get back to subject lines. So we had already covered, just to recap, about how you really want to see how that sequence is from when somebody first gives you that email until like they actually get it, they're confirmed, and they get your freebie. Right. So other things to consider, again, if you have the paid version of MailChimp, or if you're a MailerLite, or you're one of my CK people for ConvertKit, you want to make sure you've got a couple of emails after that just to sort of keep on warming up people. So we'll just assume that you've got all of that, and we can talk about the power of 3 if you want to afterwards.
Yeah.
And for subject line after your name, it is a couple of different things. And again, it's always about testing. So you might want to test different times for when it sends, because maybe it does make a difference. And that's where it comes from knowing your people. So I know one extremely popular, I'd call her a mommy blogger, and she sends it on Saturday morning. And
Smart.
People know it's coming on Saturday morning, and she makes a big deal about it, like when you sign up. So people know to read it like during soccer practice or during downtime, because she knows her audience is bored to death at a kid's activity.
Yeah.
So that's when she does it. So a lot of people are like, oh, like don't, send it on Monday. Like, okay, you could still send it on Monday morning if you tell people to look for it. I have one that I love, Paul Jarvis, is this Sunday. It's called the Sunday Dispatch. I make a ritual of it. And so that's something to think about as well, is you can email like as many times a week as you want, but if you can at least pick a day in your head where like Wednesday is Ed newsletter day, people will start looking for it. So that's another tip to get higher open rates. So for subject lines, you could go with something that is benefit driven. So it can literally be like how to get 1,000 likes next week.
Right.
Or how to get your kid to stop screaming at the grocery store. Literally like, or how I did this statements work really well. And that works for like every industry. Another one would be like, I don't know, I think it's someone that had like teaching with like lesson plans.
Yeah.
I think I saw it in the crowd. So it's like, steal my lesson plans.
Right.
And
That's always good.
People can literally like see it and they know what they're getting before they get into. Another one that I like to pepper in there is like a curiosity thing. Like, if you do nothing else today, do this.
Right.
Or, this is why I hate email marketing or I think it's stupid. Like, it's called the open loop. So you can do a couple of those and see what's really working with your audience. Now, if you have a smaller list, which there's nothing wrong with, because as I always say, like, think about it if you were an introvert and you hated public speaking, would you rather like cut your teeth with 25 people in the room
right.
and half of them are your relatives? Or would you rather do it with over 1,000 and most of them are strangers? Now, unless your family are hecklers, which some people do have hecklers in the family, most of the time you're going to want to cut your teeth and get used to what you're doing when you've got 25 people. So start emailing when you have 5 people or when it's just you. So that way you can see how it's going. You can critique it, and then that's the better you get. Because your writing for your emails is only going to get better.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And Stacey says Cait is killing it with these ideas, and you are.
This is what I do, Stacey. Like, this is what I do. Chantal will tell you, like, this is what I do.
And this is the beauty. It's like, it's one of those things that, how many of you guys were blown away, even if you're watching the replay, with the mommy blogger on a Saturday, knowing where her audience is going to be, and think about the possibilities of what's in that email. Those people are sitting down at the soccer game. They're checking that email. They're watching whatever fun video she did during the week. They're reading what she's buying or what she's selling. Like, I mean, that right there, I was just like, I don't even know her and I don't even have kids, but I already can see that that's high value right there.
Yeah. One of my favorite newsletters, it's a student, but like she just revamped everything. And hers is like Wine and Design Wednesdays.
Oh.
And it's literally like an email that you would write to your friends. And at the bottom, she even has like little wine deals. Like, it's literally so fun to read. And it's like, I love reading it on Wednesday nights. Like, it's like the best way to unwind.
I'm like, who was that again? Because I'm like, I need to get up on that list.
Oh, Alyssa, her stuff is feminine yet functional. That is for her interior design, and it's just so nice. That's another reason why I liked it and I encouraged her, because it goes against like the norms of like only ask them to do one thing and only do this, and it's okay to test and see what's working and what's not.
Right.
If you're trying to sell in an email like legit, then don't have anything else in there.
Yeah.
But if it's just like selling yourself, then you can have a couple of things in there.
Oh, yeah. And Tammy asked, how often should you email? Do you have insight on that?
Sure. So you want to, again, having an autoresponder. So that is a series of emails that go out regardless of when somebody signs up on your list. You should probably have those. And towards the beginning, when someone first subscribes, you want to do like every day or like every other day. But you'll tell people like, for the next 2 weeks or so, it's going to be like Christmas because maybe popping in your inbox, but then it's a little bit later. So I tell everyone to focus on once a week. Now, some people are like, well, like,
it's me.
I can't even like manage that. Like, I'll have nothing to say. And now I have other content. When you think about it, it's 4 emails. Like, it's 4, because I don't want people to get in the trap of only sending emails when they need money.
Right.
And like, there's someone that I am friends with and I'm on their list and I like privately call them out on it. I'm like, you used to be really good about like sharing things that you were doing in your background. I'm like, now when I see your name in the inbox, I know it's just because you want money.
Ouch. Yeah. And that hurts.
And I'm like, I'm pretty sure all of your fans can see that too.
Right.
Which is why like she could sell every email, but like I technically can sell anything every week when I email, because I'm still giving value.
Sure.
And it's still related to it. And it's more of like a casual sell.
And that's what's going to also tie into those open rates that you mentioned. It's
exactly.
Like you already know that that email is not technically going to be important, so you're not going to open it.
Right? Or if it's something like, you're like, oh, Cait, like, I don't know if I can manage once a week. I know Ed's definitely talked about this before with batching. like sit down and do it, or like let people know even when they first sign up. Like I email on the 1st and the 15th, like that's when you're going to get the normal updates.
Right.
Or actually do, because I think even, again, with paid MailChimp, can you add emails to the series? Like if you do an autoresponder after you make it, or no?
Yeah, actually, they have it now for the free version. Now you can have autoresponders.
Oh, autoresponders. Okay,
but I forget how many people you can have on the list. There's some, because they changed it recently. So you guys, you can have a free MailChimp account now with autoresponders. Before you couldn't do that, but now you can. And I have it set up, but I forget like what the cutoff is. But for all of us just starting out, or kind of just with our low numbers and stuff, you should all be fine.
Yeah, because it's one of those like, say you're really good for a while and, you don't, like Ed and I talk about marketing. So there are some things like knowing your ideal audience, which is like evergreen, it's concrete, we could throw in. But a lot of the stuff, especially with Ed, since he's update on technology, his autoresponder series, like he might like say have this really in-depth thing about Periscope, but like Periscope is dead. Like nobody talks about that anymore. So that wouldn't be like a really good message to have in his autoresponder. But say he had this, really juicy one. Maybe he was sharing some struggles that he had in his business, but this is how he's planning for the future. Well, that's a really great one that he could send it in real time for his once a week email, but then he can add it to his autoresponder for all the new people. So that way, in case if Ed like falls off the wagon, at least the newer people are still getting taken care of, and those older subscribers will give you a little bit more grace when you do come back.
Exactly. And that's the thing, you guys, is to really think about that and keep revisiting, because you can set up this series, but it may not be relevant anymore, 3 months down or whatever. And I know that even for mine, like mine's kind of more of a teaching series, which actually I've gotten actual responses from, which has been great. I mean, when you get those responses to an email, you're just kind of like, really? Somebody responded? It's the weirdest thing, because it's like, it's literally, you just have to hit reply, and we do that all day long, but it's different when it's your newsletter and the email that you sent out and you get a response back. It's just different.
Especially when people like thank you for sending emails.
Yes.
Because I'm like, I've got, not to say this, but it's true. I have a giant folder in my own inbox that's literally people just either thanking me for emails or saying that they really like it or responding to it. And like my whole mission in life is to make email marketing fun. Like that's why I have my course that's coming out in 2 weeks and all that. Like it legitly is fun because it's like you're talking to your friends. Like, that's it, guys. Like how would you talk to your friend about, finding eCam and then just talk to them about them like they are your friends and you found eCam, and is it relevant to them? Well, yes, it is, because they are probably doing Facebook Lives and you had this result, and then, oh look, it's okay with the terms of service for Ed to put in his affiliate link in the email. Right. So that Ed does. And then he casually is teaching, he's relating, and he's making sales at the same time. It's like, ooh.
And that is perfect, and you guys, Kate will put in links to all her stuff. We'll have her jump in the comments. Don't worry.
I'll do that.
Yeah. But that's the beauty of being able to think about that and to have that broken out and to really understand, like going through and just exploring and testing and really seeing what works for you and your audience. Mickey had mentioned that she's afraid of doing weekly emails because she knows her target audience is already inundated with emails. So she may not...
Bad emails.
Yeah.
Bad emails. But if your emails are good, they will not care that you get them once a week. And your emails are going to be good because you're hanging out with Kate and Ed.
Yes, exactly.
So you'll literally be a beacon and a sea of garbage.
I love that. I'm glad that you pointed that out, because that right away, that could have discouraged us from doing weekly emails. But it depends on what you're going to include in that email and how you're going to structure it. So keep that in mind for that.
And Ed doesn't attract garbage people, so I know your emails are going to be great.
I love it. And Stacy says, tagging my virtual assistant. I love it. So when she sees, let's talk about this, or quote, let's talk about your goals, I'll just say this video.
Aw, is it being awesome. Best friends with Ed? Because he's my best online friend, so back off.
I love it. You guys are awesome. See, and this is like what we're talking about when you do an email and when you send out an email and somebody responds, it doesn't matter what the response is technically. The fact that they responded, you're you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Same thing happens in the comments. Erica, I see you, but you warned me that you'd be coming late, so that's good. We get excited when somebody stops what they're doing to provide us with a comment. It doesn't matter if it's a comment in the Facebook Live, if it's in a blog post, if it's an email reply. It doesn't even matter if it's good or bad. We just are excited to get that comment. And I love, Kate, that you mentioned that you have a folder where you save all of these things.
My smile file.
Oh, see, so I don't have a catchy name for mine, but I literally will take my screenshots and save them in a folder for me to look back on, because it's progress. It's a time when you need to reflect when you're feeling down and out, or when you start questioning yourself and your services and what you're doing. You need something to reflect on. And so having that to go back to and being like, dang, you know what? I'm good. Like, brush off the shoulders.
Ed can add those to his landing pages. That's like the special sign-up page. Or he can add that to his thank you page or his confirmation page. Yep. So that way, again, every step of the journey, we're reconfirming Ed is somebody that you want to talk to, and you'd be excited if you saw him on a weekly basis. And
that's true, and that's a good point. That's what we talk about a lot, too, is social proof. You want to make sure that you have social proof. That's why we talk about, having reviews turned on your Facebook page.
Awful that.
Google, if you have Google business, have your reviews there. Like, get people to actually publicly say what they think about you and your services and your products, because that's what sells itself, and that's how people get connected, just like you guys see here in the comments. Oh, good. We're right on time. All right, cool. Time, yes, but I'm reading the comments. I'm kind of going through, browsing, and trying to think at the same time. So yes, and so, okay, cool. So we have our subject line. We talked a little bit about open rates. Now, and you mentioned some great ideas. Now, how should we kind of map it out? Any tips on mapping out? Do we go straight to pen and paper? Do we go to the computer? Or are we just thinking about it in our head? Like, any tips around that? Because that's kind of, I feel like, where we might be going now that we kind of know a subject line and a open rate.
Okay, so do you mean how to actually structure an email worth reading, or do you mean how to actually figure out an email, what am I going to email about, and how does this fit into my business?
Both. I don't know if we'll have enough time for both, but let's start with the first one, because it's the email body. It's the body of the email, and we're talking about the subject. So let's go ahead and just talk about a body of the email, because that a lot of us can quickly relate to that too.
Okay, excellent. So, and I talked about a lot of this in my ebook that I have, the Email Marketing Fairy. But the first thing that you always want to ask yourself, thank you. The first thing that I always want to ask yourself about is, what do I want someone to feel, and what do I want them to do? Yes. Because a lot of people fail to think about that feel part. Do I want them to feel empowered? Do I want them to feel educated? Do I want them to feel them on edge? Do I want them to feel camaraderie? Do I want them to feel acceptance? Do I want them to feel, excited? So you kind of want to think about that. Now, everyone's like, oh, well, I have a boring topic. You still need to think about how you want people to feel after reading this email. Sometimes it might just be curiosity, because maybe you just want to send them a teaser and have them link over to something else.
Yep.
So that's the very first thing is how do I want them to feel, and then what is my goal? So again, we already talked about every email is a sales email, so you just have to get over it.
Right.
But do I want them to reply back? Do I want them to check out this blog post? Do I want them to come join me on Facebook? Again, you got to think of logistically, do you have an actual hardcore goal?
Right.
And then that's how you're going to go ahead and map something out. So this is one of my favorite email formulas. I'm going to give you two. So I have templates in my book, but we're not going to talk about that. So the first one is one that some people struggle with at the very beginning, but the more you do it, the better it is. And that is life plus your stuff.
Ooh.
So, whatever you talk about. And everyone's like, well, what if I have, a boring life? And so, I have this example about how, literally just think about what you did today. Okay, so, and this is exactly what happened today. So, my daughter had a temper tantrum today. So, how can I relate that to online businesses? Okay, well, my daughter's having this temper tantrum because she had hit her sister, and I wasn't going to give in and give her a Happy Meal like I gave her sister. And you know what? Sometimes that is the way that our email subscribers and customers are. They think if they just get to pitch a fit, that we're just going to cave and give in. But like, no, you need to have boundaries. You need to stay where it is. So like, it flows right in there. Or like, the constant struggle of, do I eat this zebra roll? And that's how about like, I know it's bad for me and I know it's not good, but I still really want it. And again, since I teach marketing, it would be like, and so people, like, they want to have a big list and they're into list building, but what they really need, just like I probably really needed a carrot, not a zebra roll, is they need to have an actual email marketing strategy. Because the money is not in the list. It's in the way you talk to the people on the list.
Oh, Mickey, so, where we at with that quote?
If you guys give Ed, since I can't see the comments, some of your industries, we can do a little bit more of examples about that as well. So like, I'm trying to think of like today, like I'm thinking of like health related. So like today, like I went to Panera and the person that I was with got a salad, but I decided to have a bagel. Yeah. So rather than like talking about like the guilt around myself choosing something that was carb heavy, it was allowing yourself the grace to make these choices because that's what you want. And it's literally just about like your life. So it's like the more you do it, the better it is. So some people tend to struggle. Like I even say like look around your office, even if you're not in the online marketing, like, what books do you have on your desk? Like, why do you like your favorite pen? And just see how you can relate it to the topic that you talk about because people love stories.
Yes. And we know stories sell. Tammy says branding. She's a branding champion.
Oh my goodness. There's a gajillion things that she could do. So and again, this is just if you're running errands one day, you could talk about how, like you were going to buy sweatpants and you ended up going not with like the Fruit of the Loom one, but you decided to go with Victoria's Secret because of the branding that it has behind it. Like, Fruit of the Loom, you're just like, but like you're going to spend $45 on Victoria's Secret sweatpants because it makes you feel sexy. It makes you feel youthful. You love them. And that is what good branding can do. And then people are like, oh my God, like, I get it. So do you want to be a Fruit of the Looms or do you want to be Victoria's Secret? And then she could snap a picture of herself in the sweatpants.
I love it. Another one came in from Mindy, teaching graphic design online.
Oh my goodness. There's a million things. So she could have like, just like she was going through Facebook groups and they had like janky designs and it didn't quite work out. But like she can talk about maybe she was, throwing, like a birthday party for her kids. I don't know if she has kids, but if her audience has kids, like they'll relate to the story. So again, know your audience and how like she planned everything down to like the perfect detail, but like things just kind of kept on going wrong or didn't quite come out right. And she knows that that's the same thing that can happen when you're sit down and you're creating this Pinterest graphic or your logo. Like you put in so much time and effort, but something is just off. Yeah. And then she can talk about how she has a product that helps you with that or like how she reviews those sorts of things. So it's not thinking about email marketing in the literal sense, but it's more about the broader concepts and then bringing it to specific.
I love it. What about book author?
Book author. So it would depend. Is she helping other people, like publish books? Does she do nonfiction or fiction?
So we have one of ours. I don't have it upstairs. Erica, I don't know if she's still here, but Erica is an author and she has a book called Reframe It. And it's all about, it's an adult, cartoon book. Well, not cartoon, but adult, book for helping you reframe like things that happen to you. So like if you're like, oh, my car broke down, instead of stressing about it and going over it, you would then, reframe it and you'd be like, okay, well, that happened. But what's the bright side? We're not stuck on the freeway. We're on the side road and stuff like that. It's probably like
so you could literally just use that example that you gave.
Okay, there we go.
Like, because I'm sure that she's been in those situations. We've all got stopped at a light. We've all, necessarily gotten like pulled over, or we needed gas at the worst possible minute. You hit a pothole. Your computer decided to restart in the middle and you hadn't saved. And again, this isn't necessarily going on technology, but it's like how she used that time to like better herself and her community's life. You know what I mean?
Yep. And then
it's all about finding the difference between a growth and a fixed mindset, where a growth mindset is not, it's what can I do in these 15 minutes rather than I'm going to waste these 15 minutes and just go play Candy Crush. Yeah. And just go on about that. And mysteriously, she's selling a coaching program for growth-minded people. Oh my goodness.
Right. Yep. And we had one more come in, wellness and self-care.
Oh my goodness. So, okay, you have, again, all of the examples of actual like food choices. Yeah. And again, if we use the kid and the tantrum, this wasn't actually the case because I'm a very rigorous mom. I'm not the fun mom. Where it could be like your kid had a giant tantrum and you couldn't figure out why, like they hadn't been having it. And then she realized, because this is timely, she had gone into the Easter candy, and that was the effect that sugar was having on her child. Or she could even talk about, like, you know, like she was reading a book. It could even be like a marketing book. And there's like this really famous story that floats around about how, like, there was this steamboat captain and he had to call the specialist in to fix a pipe, and all he did was hit one spot with a hammer, and the bill came, it was for like $1,000. Oh. And the ship captain was like, well, I could have done that. And he's like, it was $5 for the hammering, but it was $995 for knowing the spot to hit.
Yes.
And you know, going into that and talking about how that's exactly the same with a health and wellness, because some people might have that complaint about like, oh, well, why would I actually pay for a health coach? It's not about the actual action. It's about the things beyond it.
I love that. I'm already thinking, you guys, like, this has already got me. Can you guys see how we can just geek out on this stuff? I mean, this was like rapid fire, and we're just like giddy over here. We're
tip of the iceberg, guys. That's why I really know, tip of the iceberg.
It's like crazy. And I'm already thinking like, okay, maybe my whole email approach, because you guys, I've been trying to step up the game. I don't know why I feel like it's so hard for myself. I help with others, but it's just like, that's just not where my head's at. And so when it comes to mine, I'm like, maybe I've already been thinking all these different scenarios. I just haven't thought of them as my email marketing, you know, and being able to use this. Because I'm thinking like today, my check engine light was on my car, you guys, for the last couple days. I was trying to figure it out, and, you know, I did one of the little test things you can plug in, and it said what the code was, and I thought it was this filter thing. Long story short, I thought it was going to be like a $300 project, and I was like, I really don't want to put money into this. But then I had a friend take a look at it, and you guys, you're going to be like, serious? So remember, business and tech all day long over here. Not engines. So I can't even believe I'm going to tell you guys this, because you're going to be like, really? So turns out that the only reason the check engine light came on was because after I got my oil change, somehow either they forgot or it just fell off. This emissions valve, basically, that goes into the air filter was not plugged in. That's it. And my friend was able to diagnose that in like less than 10 minutes by just looking around in the engine and being able to see what was missing, basically.
There you go. So he knew exactly, just like the shipwreck. Yeah. And that's something that that story could very easily lead into you linking to one of your Ask Ed episodes that you had any of these weeks. Like your favorite one about how you don't know what you don't know type of scenario.
Yep.
Or, you know, not about holding it back or like asking for help and how like it doesn't, you know what I mean? Because I know that you had one episode about like how to build authority when you have none or something like that. Like, you know, linking, that's all Ed can have to do, because then now they're over to his Facebook page. This is the main way you can interact with Ed. Like, it's nice and easy peasy.
Yeah, and I'll read one more before we switch over here. Mindy is like, oh, I just thought of a good one. I'm running on bald tires and getting new ones Friday. I was trying to come up with something to go with refreshing your social media graphics when they've been overused. Boom.
There you go. Because like everyone's using that same picture from Unsplash, you know, like everyone's got it, and now it's not working out. People are blind to it. You're not getting as much mileage out of your social media as you could be.
Oh, look at that!
Like going on, it's like, oh snap! See, and like it literally is the simplest thing, like life plus your thing.
I love that.
But I don't even need to. I can. The other one I'm not even going to tell you, because that one's just. The other one's not as exciting. It's not as exciting.
And we've had so much excitement. We're like.
It's not. It's like, oh, like try to say your point in like 5 sentences. It's not exciting.
Oh my goodness.
Life plus your thing is way more exciting.
Yeah, and you guys think about it. We all can relate to the car. The whole situation about a car. It doesn't matter if you're a mechanic or you're just the average, mom, dad, tech guy, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. We all know a little bit about the car and we can relate to it. And even when I was working at Apple, we actually would tell people, help people relate to dual core processors. How many of you guys know what a dual core processor is? You know, and so what does that relate to, and how does that translate? Well, it's basically like a 2-lane freeway versus a quad core, which is a 4-lane freeway. Get it? So 2 lanes is going to be a lot slower than the 4 lanes. So that's kind of like how you can relate things is by it's weird. The car is always something that we can relate back to. All of us. Yeah. Even if you don't have a car.
Yeah, like, again, and that's something you think about, you know, getting your morning coffee, like, how is, like, your routine around that? So then you could either, you know, do one about your morning routine or about how sometimes we do things on autopilot. So that person that was doing wellness, and I apologize because I can't call her by name because I'm not seeing the comments, where she could literally, like, not necessarily talk about, like, her morning routine per se, although I'm sure people would be curious because they're nosy.
Yeah.
But, like, how we do all of this stuff on autopilot. But when you actually focus on self-care and mindset, you'll actually catch yourself and be like, why do I always make my coffee first? Right. And then go, like, putting in the toast. Like, why do I take it like this? And how, like, spicing things up. Or, you know, even, like, I started doing recently, which it's difficult, brushing my teeth with a non-dominant hand.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, well, this will be fun and we'll see.
Yep.
So it's sneaking it in like that.
This has opened up some doors for me that you guys who are on my list.
I talked about email a lot, guys.
Oh,
a lot.
All the time. But, you know, we kind of had this conversation real quick, and then we'll kind of wrap up here. But we had this conversation in my community earlier about how you can hear the same thing over and over, but it's how does it resonate with you, and who is the one saying it? Like, we can always say the same thing over and over, but it's who do you connect with? And you know, we've talked about different scenarios for specifically like my stuff, but now hearing it, being on the other side, basically as an audience member, hearing it and understanding the different connections that we've all talked about from the comments, now I'm like, oh, okay. Because my thing, to be honest, you guys, my thing is like, my emails I want short, sweet, and to the point. I actually don't even want to type them out anymore. Like, I'm kind of getting lazy. And so now I'm like, okay, how can I tie in the video aspect? So I'm going to be playing with...
Make a gift of yourself, because you can actually send videos. Like, people are working on it. But, like, Ed could literally create, like, a gift of one of his videos talking about it, and that's when it can lead to. I know some people feel bad, like, oh, like, I don't want to always, you know, send them clicking someplace. Then don't, like, make it a couple of times a week. Like, okay, so, you know, on the first and third, not that you have to be this rigid, I'm going to send them to Facebook. And then, you know, my second and fourth email, it'll just be a quick tip. Or like a PS will be like, and if you want more about this topic, like, check out this video, as opposed to the whole thing where it's just get them to the video.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And Debbie,
have fun.
Debbie, yes, there's some good knowledge drops bombs in here. Like, you missed all of our gooky, you know, theme geeky on this. Debbie's like, this is her jam. Like, she's all about email marketing. I mean, Debbie's the best, to be honest, you guys. I'm just going to shout out Debbie. Debbie's the best at like everything. She's awesome at email marketing, WordPress, all that stuff. So she's just amazing. I can't say enough good things about her. Technical aspects, yeah, so perfect. Monitoring, oh yeah. A follow-up, Debbie, would be awesome. We need to do follow-up on some other stuff. Morgan, hey, welcome to the party. We're almost out, so you have to watch the replay, but it was a good party, and the after party is still taking place in the comments. So we have to wrap up. We're running out of time. What anything you want to leave us with? I know I'm going to have you jump into the comments, drop your links and everything so people can know who you are, where to find you, because we're all hooked on you, and we all want to make sure that we become, well, I'm already best friends with you, but everyone wants to become.
You can be my inbox bestie.
Yes, exactly. What last piece of advice do you have for us?
Make email marketing connections. That's literally it. Everyone is putting way too much pressure on themselves for having this huge list, and they've got list shame, and then they put so much pressure on themselves to write like the perfect email, because I think we've all been on recipients of like really crappy ones. But when you literally, like, if you need to pump up like vanilla ice before you sit down to write your email, so you're in that space, or like Eye of the Tiger, if you really need to, like, pick out like your like worst guilty pleasure song, throw it on, and then sit down to write your email. And it's just like what would I literally, like, you can say this to yourself, and this goes in this life plus stuff. What would I tell my best friend about drinking water every day? Like, chances are you're not going to preach to her, but you might come up with some fun examples. You might say what you do to drink more incorporated, about how, like, you know, your skin's looking better, and you know, notice that she was complaining that she's looking her age, and all of that sort of stuff. So you're rocked out to your vanilla ice baby. You sit down, you write like you're writing to a friend. You hit send, and then you go. If people unsubscribe, cool, because now it means you actually sent emails.
Yes.
And 2, now you're going to not have to pay for people. And 3, they're making space for others to actually join your list. All amazing things. All
Exactly. Amazing. Awesome. I love it. Cait, we'll definitely have you back on the show because this is awesome. And I have some other things that I want to talk to you about for the community too. So we'll definitely connect again here soon. Thank you so much for...
Sorry guys, best friends only.
Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us today, and be sure to pop into the comments and let people know where to find you and all whatever goodies you have. And thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Bye. It's going to be a minute because I got to put my kids to bed.
Yeah.
I will be in the comments afterwards. It's weird to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Take care, Cait.
Bye.
You guys, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with us a little bit over time here. I will pop into the comments probably later because I have to get to an appointment here. But this is what it's all about, and this is what I love, being able to have you guys jump in and be a guest and share your knowledge. And just, you get to learn. And the cool thing, this video stays up. And you don't even have to search Facebook to find these previous episodes. The links are in the comments. You got a link to Hey Ed membership if you're curious about that. You have a link to where to find information about this whole show. That includes training. That includes tools that I use. It also includes the guest request, which is free, that you can sign up for. Like, all of that's in the comments. You can find it all on the website. It's all ready for you. So have a great evening, and I look forward to seeing you guys back here tomorrow. And I thank you guys so much for showing up, delivering, and engaging. Take care.